Yo, good evening, good people. Y'all know what time it is, baby. It's AA Sports, straight sports, no damn chaser. And you got the super team of sports talk here with y'all on one half of it. Diego Barishnikov, the Black Dominican Russian, checking in as always with my main man, my partner in crime. I like to call him the 6 foot and under post up champ. Man, tell these people who you are.
What's good, good people? It's your boy Uncle Hate, the other A and AA Sports, broadcasting live here on a Thursday, our first pick show of the 2019 season. It's good, homie.
Oh man, I cannot call it. People, we're gonna be real straight with y'all. Of course, we appreciate y'all tuning in as always. Don't forget to watch, hit those subscribe buttons, whether you're watching on YouTube or if you listen on one of the podcast platforms, Spreaker or iTunes. But we are here to give you our week 2 picks. We'll go over our week 1 scores, and we're gonna get the hell up out of here and watch the game. It's gonna be quick, sweet, and to the point. Last week we had a tie, so I'm trying to determine whether to just go ahead and throw the ties in the record to make it a true record, or just leave the ties out. I think we always normally leave them in, so
yeah, that's fine.
Neither one of us is ever going to predict the tie, so it's really not going to swing the standings either way. But last week in our head-to-head, we had 5 games different. I won 3-2, thanks to my Niners. So I went 10-5-1. So I went 10-5-1, and you went 9-6-1.
So we for both of us week 1. That week was kind of scary to me.
Oh, the first couple of weeks is always, like I say, you never know because you're trying to get a grasp on what these teams going to do. Yeah. As long as we keep our 60-70% clip like we always do, yes, then we good money over here, baby. Remember, shop with your boys if you like to play parlays. Hey, break us something off.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's get right on into it, man. Start of week 2 in a few minutes, even though y'all won't hear this show until later on tonight or tomorrow, Friday. But the Buccaneers are going into Charlotte tonight to take on the Panthers. Game's about to kick off any second now. Divisional game. I like the divisional games early in the season. Both teams took a L this week, week 1, so I'm pretty sure they're ready to get back on the field and try to right that ship.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm taking the Panthers. I know you're taking the Panthers, but tell me what you expect to see or what you want to see out of your boys tonight that maybe you didn't see Sunday.
Cam throwing the ball down the field.
Okay.
I like what the defense did. I was concerned. Well, I wasn't concerned. I thought we were going to step up, but we did a really good job on the Rams on Sunday. We gave up 30 points. I ain't like what we did with Todd Gurley in the 4th, but the defense don't look like it was last year. We actually seem like we got some players and we're ready to go. So, yeah.
And even though you gave,
tonight.
Right. And even though, like you said, you gave up 30 points, it wasn't like it was a rout, and some of those points came really from short fields off a turnover. So, we talked about it a few days ago in episode 186 about how the Rams didn't look like this high-powered offense that they were this time last year. I'm expecting Carolina to come out tonight at home, be able to bounce back, and come out 1-1.
Cam is on a 7-game losing streak as a starter. He needs to win.
Absolutely, Jameis needs to win too, but I don't think they go down there and get it done. Start of Sunday's games. We got your boy Kyler Murray, and the Cardinals got to go to Baltimore, take on the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. I'm taking Baltimore. I don't think the Ravens are going to score 59 points this week.
They might not score 59, but they might get 35. That Arizona defense is trash. Patrick Peterson, you got to think about that too. Patrick Peterson's on his 2nd game of that 4-game suspension. So, secondary is not good. But, yeah, give me Baltimore.
Okay, I'm taking Baltimore as well. Only thing I got to say really about the Cardinals is they can't start slow like they did last week and expect to get back in the game like they did against the Lions last week. Can't do that this week, especially on the road.
Hey, spoiler alert, people. They only throw the ball to Larry Fitzgerald. Just saying.
Did Christian Kirk not play last week? Because I want to see
He
more out
played
of
a
him.
bit. He played a bit, but when the money's on the line, they go into Larry.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
you would
Absolutely.
think that Detroit would have knew that, but they didn't. So
Yeah, and then Kirk, I think Kirk is more the deep threat, and I don't think Kyler Murray had a hell of a lot of time last week. So we'll see how they go from here. Next up, another divisional game, NFC East divisional game. The Cowboys going into Washington, D.C. to take on the Redskins. I think we hinted about how the Redskins normally play the Dallas Cowboys good at home in this divisional matchup. Will they be able to come up to par, play like they did the first half against Philly last week for a whole game this week and beat Dallas?
nah, I don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but Dallas is gonna win the game, and I don't think Washington's going to ball like they did last week. It's a much better. Well, I ain't gonna say it's a much better pass rush, but I guess I kind of like Dallas' defense a little bit better than Philly's right now, especially the secondary.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think this week you won't see Dak throwing for the big numbers that you saw last week. I think Zeke Elliott having another week up under his belt of practice and conditioning.
Yeah,
I think you see him over 100 yards this week,
yeah,
20 to 25 carries, and Dallas shoots some ball control. I'm
yes,
taking
sir.
the Cowboys as well.
Yeah, give me the boys.
All right, next up, Jacoby Brissett and the Colts going into Tennessee to take on the Titans. The Titans coming off of a big win last week, 43-13 over the summer champs, the Browns. I'm a little skeptical about them repeating that performance. I don't think they're 43 points a week type of team.
Oh no.
I like what Jacoby Brissett, I like what he did, but they're always, to me, probably for this season, until they show me otherwise, it's going to be a coin flip whether I pick them or not. Because of the defense, I'm taking Tennessee at home in this game.
Yeah. If Andrew Luck was playing, I might feel a little bit better about them going down there beating them.
Right.
I need to see it from Jacoby, so give me Tennessee as well.
Okay. All right. Next up, this should be a good game. It's a 1 o'clock game, so we know sometimes the travel for West Coast teams when the 1 o'clock going east may affect them, but it's early in the season, so maybe not so much. But we got the Seahawks coming to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers.
That's a good one.
Now, the Seahawks, they squeaked out with a win last week, but they didn't really play their best football. The Steelers, we know what they did, 3 whole points. I think the Steelers get on track this week and win this game at home.
Yeah, I was looking at this one. I just don't like what they got going on at wide receiver.
In Seattle?
Seattle, I mean. And Dante Moncrief cannot drop 5 or 6 balls this game, so I think Pittsburgh going to win. They're going to turn it around. James Conner should run the ball better this week as well. So, yeah, Pittsburgh.
I mean, we talked about DK Metcalf dropping balls last week. Dante Moncrief, you too, buddy.
Yeah.
So
you a vet. It's worse.
Right, exactly. So we're both taking the Steelers there. All right, so we even par so far. Next up, Josh Allen in the Buffalo Bills coming off that 17-16 fourth-quarter comeback win against the Jets last week. Playing the other New York team this week with the Giants, Eli Manning and them boys. I got Saquon going off in this game, and I'm taking the Giants, damn it.
Okay. Give me Captain Comeback. Give me White Cam.
All right.
Buffalo. If them dudes is halfway as wide open as they was in Dallas last week,
he should be able to hit those throws, right?
Yeah, he should be able to do something. Them dudes was wide open last week. John Brown still fast last time I checked. So.
That is true. That is true. All right. So next up, we got my 49ers. We are playing the Cincinnati Bengals this week. Again, the Bengals played our NFC foe, the Seahawks, real tight last week. But I'm expecting I'm expecting us. We should win this game solid. Actually, I'm depending on my defense again until Jimmy kind of get his feet under him. He still look a little timid out there to me. Steve Young brought out some good points, talking about he don't think it doesn't to him look like Jimmy is comfortable off of the injury yet because he is not really planting hard on that knee and following through with his throws, which is causing some throws to be high. He also talked about how when you're throwing across your body to the left and you don't plant that foot down, how some of your throws are high. And lo and behold, the pick six last week, it was a high ball off target to the left. So we Jimmy got to continue to get a little bit better with that. But I'm expecting the defense hopefully carry us again, and we come out 2-0.
I'm gonna take y'all in this game, but y'all running out a little bit on running backs.
Yeah. Now Tevin Coleman is out this week, of course. I don't think it's as bad as we thought it was initially, so he should hopefully be back next week. But we'll see how it goes.
That Mozart fella though. He runs hard.
Yeah, he was because we had a lot of running backs go down last year, and he stepped up, and then he broke his forearm, I think it was, and then he was out for the year. So he's back and he looks good. Next up,
no Mixon in that game either, so y'all should be good.
Yep. Next up, we got the Los Angeles Chargers going into Detroit, take on Pencil Boy and the Detroit Lions. I don't have a whole lot for this game, although San Diego was going back to the old San Diego ways where they got a lot of injuries.
Whole lot of injuries. Good.
Hunter Henry fractured his knee. Melvin Gordon's still not there. We know Derwin James is already out. I want to say a tackle or somebody on the line is out.
Yeah, somebody with blood clots or something. But it's they're basically missing 7 starters. Mike Williams got hurt this past Sunday with his knee. So I'm still gonna take the Chargers in the game.
Yeah. I was gonna say even with that, because they play in Detroit, I'm gonna still take the Chargers. All right, next up, another division game, another sexy division game. What's 1 o'clock time slot gonna be lit Sunday? We got the Minnesota Vikings going into Green Bay to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. What you got on this one?
I'm going to take Green Bay because it's in Green Bay, because it's there. I figure Kirk going to have to throw more than 10 times this week. You're going to have to.
Yeah, and I'm taking Green Bay at home as well. 1, it is a home game. 2, I don't expect the Packers offense to be as bad as they were last week, for lack of a better term. And I think Green Bay's defense is a little bit improved. I think they'll hold Fort at home. Change your mind?
Let me switch that. Right. Xavier Rhodes is going to be on Devontae Adams. We were just on here the other day talking about who the hell is the number 2. What's his name? Aaron Jones ain't going to necessarily be able to run like that on these boys. Let me switch that to Minnesota.
Okay. All right, so you're taking the Vikings. I'm taking the Packers.
Yeah.
Next up, another divisional matchup. It looks sexy at first, but not as much so right now because Nick Foles is out until week 11 at the earliest. Jaguars going into Houston to take on the Texans. Texans coming off of a heartbreaking loss. Last-second field goal Monday night in a very good game to the Saints. Only thing I think the Texans got to look out for, even though I'm taking them in this game, don't come in there and let that second-string quarterback do y'all up. And 2, the Jaguars, they have a lot of talent on defense. We know what the Texans line looks like. Deshaun Watson got sacked 6 times last week. That's the only thing I think that the Texans need to look out for is keeping Deshaun upright. They let that defense wreak some havoc, get some short fields, put some points on the board, then that can kind of maybe sway that game in another way. But I'm taking the Texans.
I'm going to take the Texans, but I'm starting to feel like a real sucker for waiting on this defense to start giving a damn again. I've been waiting for a while now, deep in the last season. But if they can't get it done on that offensive line, with all that talent they got.
Yeah. And, and I was looking at some clips today of past matchups between Jalen Ramsey and DeAndre Hopkins. And DeAndre Hopkins still eats.
That dude's a monster, man.
Yeah. So –
Did you hear J.J. Watt's name at all Monday?
I didn't, actually.
It's a big difference when you ain't got another star DN on the other side.
Yeah.
I digress.
But
he's gonna shoot that shit up. He's gonna be good Sunday.
Yeah, he'll be good. Week one. Next up, okay, we're gonna mention the game, but I'm not spending a lot of time on them from my side.
Yeah.
I got the Patriots over the Dolphins.
Oh, big. 81?
I think so.
I think they're gonna play him. Get into all the hubbub with it, but do you think he's gonna play?
I think he'll play this week. I mean, they haven't put him on the exempt list yet. I don't understand what they're waiting for, especially since they're not going to interview or talk with the other with the young lady until next week.
Yeah.
I would go ahead and play him. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but again, I thought it was innocent until proven guilty, but I know it's the other way around in this day and age. So, hopefully we get to see him on the field.
Yes, sir.
And plus the Patriots, I think 1-5 in their last 6 games in Miami.
Yeah, but them dudes was trying back then.
Yeah, that's true.
Right now, so.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next up, we got the Kansas City Chiefs in a divisional matchup going into Oakland to take on the Raiders. The Raiders coming off a good week 1 showing against another divisional opponent in the Broncos. This ain't the Broncos, though.
No.
Even with Tyreek Hill being out, again, if we're gonna get what you call them, Clemson, Sammy Watkins, if we're gonna get him, and I think LaShawn McCoy with another week in the offense.
His legs last week. Hey.
We know they still got Travis Kelce. They still got weapons. I'm taking the Chiefs.
Hardman from UGA. Yeah, I'm taking Kansas City.
Taking the Chiefs. And plus, I think Raiders' defense looked good last week. Big blow losing Jonathan Abram out of that secondary.
I like that kid.
Yep. All right, next up. I understand why, but to me, this is not a revenge game or a rematch or none of the sort. Saints going into LA to take on the Rams. Yeah. Last year. It's over with. I don't think the Saints are as lucky this week. I think the Rams get it done.
Yeah.
I think Todd Gurley will get over 100 yards for the first time in I don't know when.
Well, he had 94, 95 against us.
So yeah, that's right.
68 in the fourth quarter. But I'm taking the Rams as well. Somebody made a good point today. They was like, hey, Jared Goff's last 2 games, he ain't even throwing over 200 yards. He has not looked good. So, yeah, but they always play better at home. They always do. But give me the Rams.
Okay. All right, so we're both on the Rams there. All right, next up, we got the Chicago Bears going into Denver to take on the Broncos. I was kind of flip-flopping with this game. It was like, oh no. But I'm actually going to go with the Bears on the road. I'm looking for Khalil Mack and the rest of that defense to come up with some big plays, really turnovers against Flacco in the offense.
Yeah, give me Chicago. I think that's Trubisky ain't going nowhere, but you can see the frustration in that coach. You can see it, but he ain't going nowhere. They got to just figure it out. He's young. Hell, he ain't halfway start with 1 year in college, so.
They'll be all right. They shouldn't be reacting as of yet. Next up, Sunday night game. Got the Eagles coming into town, take on the Mother Birds, the Falcons. It's going to be a big high-scoring game, you think?
31-24 Eagles.
Taking the Eagles. Okay. I am taking.
Set in.
Huh?
Panic will set in when they go 0-2.
Talking about the Falcons?
With the Falcons.
Yeah, it will. It will. And we know where the Falcon hate loves to go to Matt Ryan. I like the Falcons in this game because I don't think they want to go down 0-2. I like their receiving options against that Philly secondary.
That's a good one.
I think the defense, Vic Beasley, Pat McKinley, Grady Jarrett, maybe they can cause some noise along that front line and maybe get Wentz to turn the ball over, a time or two. So I'm taking the Falcons in this game at home.
Didn't they come in that house a couple years ago on a Sunday and beat the shit out of them? Philly did. I think they did. They opened the dome, I believe, the Mercedes-Benz, and beat the brakes off them that week.
You know what? You might be right. All right. Then last but not least, the Monday night game, not as sexy anymore. Got the Cleveland Browns taking on the Jets. That will be led by Trevor Siemian. We learned today that Sam Darnold has mono. He's going to be out for a couple weeks or for the foreseeable future. Lev Bell had an MRI on his shoulder, which turned out really to be precautionary. They say he's fine. However, C.J. Mosley hasn't practiced. He has a groin. Quentin Williams has an ankle, I think. He's not practicing. So injuries, Quincy Enunwa, again, out for the season with another neck injury. So injuries already just starting to pile up for the Jets. I think the Browns get back on track this week and beat the New York football. Well, that's the football Giants. That's their slogan. But they're going to beat the Jets.
Just the Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Baker should have a good game. He should. But they should win the game either way. So.
All right, there we go. All right, so let's see. 1, 2. Just I'm counting by my count, just 3 games we got different this week, right? Bills at the Giants.
I took the Eagles. And I took the Bills.
Yeah, so we got 3 games different this week. Okay.
That'll work. Need to make up some ground. All right, we're gonna see what happens.
Dude's only down a game, man. It's
I try to stay ahead, cuz. I tried.
Hey,
you know how you hawked me down. I ain't jumped off cliffs early this year.
And I'm trying not to dig myself the hole. I dug myself last year. That 10, 12 games, that was hell trying to get out of that hole. But
I tend to help you out.
Hey, you know. There it is. There it is. All right, people. So that concludes this episode. Again, week 2 picks. We laid it down. We're about to go catch this Buccaneers and Panthers game now. Uncle Hake, tell these people where to reach you at on social media.
At Rike6000, holla at me. I talk sports.
And you can find me at Diego Barish. I'm on Twitter as well. Again, as always, don't forget to check out the AA Sportscast YouTube, Facebook, and IG pages. Also, we always load content onto the Urban Arena page, Urban Arena Media Group page on Facebook, where you can also find our cohorts, Get With It Sports, and Team Boyd TV. Shout out to JB and Big Q over there as well. Shout out to Kane and Ice. I asked Kane and Ice were they coming to the game this weekend, but they couldn't. They couldn't make it. The Eagles coming to town.
I just want to see how I can get down and get me a vet.
Yeah.
How can I be down? Let me know.
Say how come you trying to be like Brandy? All right, people, we finna get up out of here, man. Y'all be good. No really big college football games this week. No ranked opponents playing another ranked opponent. So be on the lookout maybe for an upset or two. For your boy Uncle Hake, for your boy Diego Barish, we are AA Sports, baby. Straight sports. No goddamn chaser. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll holler at y'all next Tuesday. Peace.
Peace.